Ever had that FaceTime call you've been waiting for with your grandkids? You hang up from the call and you just still feel that hole in your heart, right? Well, you saw their faces, you heard the giggles, but somehow it just feels like something is it's missing. You're not doing anything wrong. FaceTime is an amazing tool, but by itself, it just isn't enough to build that deep, lasting connection that you're dreaming about. So when I became a long distance Grammy, I thought weekly FaceTimes that would help fill the gap between visits. But after each call, I realized that the simple connection that we're able to make through FaceTime, it's great. It's there, but the closeness just isn't quite the same. So my grandson, he's a toddler, so he's very busy and wiggly, and calls can feel a bit scattered sometimes. I desperately have wanted to and want to. I'm still on this journey trying to find answers, and I'm here to share them with you, but finding ways to make that true connection with him. And FaceTime, it's a great start. It keeps us connected across the miles, but it's not really designed for relationship building. And here's why. So you have conversations, and sometimes they can feel rushed or routine. You know, you schedule the call and you do your thing, and there's just not a lingering moment of a shared joy or purpose from that call. You talk to each other, but it doesn't create that same spark that you get from doing something together. Younger kids, like I said, they can't sit still very long. It's just a few minutes. So calls can feel chaotic or unfulfilling. And without a common goal, something like reading or creating or playing together, the call can lose energy very, very quickly. So then you hang up, and the moment it's just gone. Nothing tangible is left. It's over until the next time. And you don't really have anything special necessarily or memorable to look back on or talk about later. So, what do you do instead? Well, the key is to transform FaceTime from a quick check in to a shared experience, something that your grandkids can look forward to, can remember, and hopefully will be telling their grandkids about in the future. So, here are 12 meaningful ideas to make your time together magical and memorable. We have I've been talking over the last week about Storytime surprise boxes, so I'm just going to get that one over with as number one. Um, if you send a themed Storytime surprise box for the story you're planning to read together next, add in some little props that go with the story, snacks or crafts. When you open it together on FaceTime, it starts that interaction and it's exciting for the grandkids. So it gets things off to a good start and can, depending on what you put in the box, can really keep momentum to your story time together. You can also create a shared reading challenge, and you can even do this with the younger grandkids. You can together track how many books you've read together, celebrate the milestones. We read 10 books, and you can celebrate with stickers or singing songs together or a little certificate, something fun. With older kids, you could start a Grandma and Me book club. You could read chapter books together over multiple calls, and then you could discuss favorite parts, just like a typical book club. Gives them something more sort of grown up to do and something where they can connect with you. Recording short videos between calls. I've talked about sending little short audio messages, which I love to do, and I love to get little audio messages back. But you can also send short pre-recorded story readings so they can see your face and they can hear your voice anytime they want, even when you're not live on FaceTime or Zoom. You can do shared memory stories. Tell short, real life stories from your own childhood. When I was your age, kids love hearing family history, especially if it's all wrapped up in humor and fun. So that's always something to keep on the list. To keep things fun, even without planning, if you have a FaceTime fun kit that's easily available, you can keep props like stuffed animals or flashlights or hats close by, and then you can use those for themed story nights or just to kind of mix things up in your next call when you haven't planned something specific. You can use a story jar. It would be super fun to write short little story prompts on slips of paper, and you could do it every week, or if you did it once a month or something, you could take turns drawing out a story prompt from the story jar, and you could invent a story together right there on your call based on whatever you draw from the jar. Plan a craft together. This requires a little bit of planning, but it gives you something that's ready to go when it's time for your story time. So send matching craft kits ahead of time. So you have what your grandchild has and you can do it together. Definitely make it simple, because remember, you're not going to be right there with them, and don't make it something that's difficult for the parents, especially if they might be busy. But that's fun. You can create it together over your video call, and then you can show each other what you've made. You can plan a Storytime theme day. Fun to coordinate outfits, snacks, or background decorations around a specific book's theme. With some of my Rascally Pup books, we could do a puppy manners day or a word exploration day with the puppy. Fun to also like flip things around. Maybe record your grandchild reading to you. This is something fun because it gives them self-confidence. Have them pick out their favorite book. They may read the story to you. Maybe they're not really reading, but they're telling you the story, which is awesome, and requires them to be thinking, and it's just a fun thing. And again, one of those things that I think builds confidence, which is great. Share a virtual bedtime routine. And this is something, it doesn't have to be on a regular basis. Maybe it's more of a surprise thing every now and then, but you can read a calming book, sing a lullaby, say a nighttime prayer together. It's comforting and it's a connection all just rolled into one. That's just really special. And lastly for today, I'm sure I'll have many more ideas for you in the future, but I am super excited about this one. Create a family Storytime channel. So you can use a private YouTube or a Google Drive folder where you can both upload short video stories and build your own library of stories and love and just time together. And when you have multiple grandchildren from all around, you can all be sharing together, and that is just really special. This is something I have not done yet, but it is on my list, and when I do, I will definitely share it with you. So you don't need to be in the same room to create lasting memories. There are lots of different things that we can do, even though it feels so insurmountable. But when your calls have a purpose, when they're filled with laughter, imagination, and story, you stop counting those miles between you. So if you would love help making Storytime extra special, I hope you'll download my free guide, Erase the Miles. Stay close to your grandkids no matter where they are. It's filled with creative ideas that help your story times become the highlight of their week. You can find a link in the description below on YouTube, in my link in bio on Instagram, or at tammykersey.com/erase-miles. Subscribe, follow, and connect for more long-distance grandparent storytime ideas. I hope to see you around.